Hello everyone, welcome to Tarot Between Sisters. I am Lady Phoebe. It's funny, I started calling myself Lady Phoebe after Lady Tabs called herself Lady Tabs, so I'm so used to saying or hearing Lady Tabs. So every time I come on here to introduce myself, I have to think and be like, Lady Tabs, no, that's my sister. I'm Lady Phoebe. And quick little story behind that. So did you see that Scottish land thing that you could do? You buy a little piece of land and you're a lord or a lady. Tabitha got that for us as siblings for Christmas a couple years ago. So like technically titled, I am Lady Phoebe. And she's technically titled Lady Tabitha. Well, Lady Tabs, but pretty cool. Anyway, today we are going to do a love reading. And I'm going to use these cards, which is what Lady Tabs gave me for my 40th birthday this year. They're so, like, the best word of, like, they're hauntingly beautiful. And so, for some reason, I'm drawn to them for the love reading, because I know that love and, like, affair and matters of the heart and everything, it can be hauntingly beautiful. Like, it haunts us because we want this epic love, right? We want this perfect love story. And it's beautiful and it can be great, but that idea of what we think a perfect relationship is haunts us through times that maybe are less than ideal. So it's like we constantly are like, well, no, it should be like this. It should be like this. It should be like this. And so we're like haunted by this idea of love. And what society has told us is that love is this painful thing. Love is pain. And right? Like, but it, I'm hoping, and I know that I'm starting to relearn what love is. And love actually isn't this currency. It's not this thing that like, I love you, you love me, or I don't love you anymore, or you don't love me, I'm not in love with you. I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Like we use it as a currency almost, right? We use it as an exchange. Love is an energy, and we are the energy of love. We've just forgotten it. So if we could change what we expect out of love, and not only expect out of love, but expect how we love. Because we always expect people to love me the way that I want to be loved and accept me, but we don't really think of what our part in that is. Well, how are we loving, right? How are we loving this being that's in this relationship with us? How are we offering ourselves to this person that's in this relationship with us? We tend to just get stuck on what we aren't getting rather than what we aren't giving. So that's my little, oh, okay. Okay. Decadence, 2 of Swords, and 10 of Wands upside down. Abruption, confusion. So again, I love it when the cards like back up what I was saying about things. Like, so we got the Decadence, which there is some cards in here that are extra outside of tarot. They're not in the actual like original Rider-Waite tarot deck. The Decadence is one of them. And that's the abruption. Abruption, decadence. So right away from this card, I'm feeling like whenever you hear the word decadence, like I'm instantly brought back to like old Paris, like Parisian royalty parties where they eat, and then they throw up, and then they eat, and then they throw up, and then they eat. Like there's this consuming aspect, which again, what I was talking about in the beginning, right? Like we're so worried about what we can consume. What can I get? I have this hole that I need to fill. What can I get to me to consume and fill this hole that I need filling? Because I don't know what else to do. So that's what decadence kind of means to me in this application, that we're looking for this thing to fix this hole, but it's all superfluous. Like we eat, and then throw up, and then eat. Like, so there's nothing long lasting. There's nothing that we're taking away from that other than like gluttony almost, right? Like, and I know that decadence and gluttony are different, but in this thing, I'm kind of feeling like they're a little bit the same. Like decadence is kind of has a prettier picture on the outside, like it's got a prettier package. Gluttony kind of gets to the point of just this constant consuming for consuming's sake. And so again, what I was saying in the beginning, if we, okay, I've got a cat hair on my nose. Okay. If we can look at what we are giving rather than what we don't think we are receiving, that puts things into perspective a little bit more. And I'll tell you as well, when we feel like we are not getting from something, what we're really telling ourselves is that we are not giving ourselves what we need. It's not about anybody else. And that's a thing, again, with love that we get a little bit confused about. That we feel like this person is in our life to give me what I need, to give whatever. No, this person's in your life actually to bring up traumas and unhealed wounds and reflect them back to you for you to choose to heal them and let them go. That's what a relationship is legitimately for. It's a constant decision for you to choose love or fear. That's what relationships are for. But we think that they're these things that are going to fill the void that I have. You're the only one that can fill your void. You're the only one. So 10 of Wands, hardship. 10 of Wands, hardship. And then I got 2 of Swords, confusion. So like if this doesn't say like what we kind of feel about love, like we're confused, it's this weird decadent thing that we don't understand, and it's hardship. That's what we think that love is. But it's funny. When I first came on here, I was thinking like love reading, like relationships, like what are you gonna like, oh, is someone gonna find someone, or are you gonna be whatever? And instead I get a totally deeper meaning to it, which again is exactly what I was talking about before. We go into it with this surface idea, and then what really comes is we get this deeper understanding of who we are and what we want and what we need. And if we can look at relationships for exactly what they are for, which is that deeper understanding of who we are and what we need healing, then we will take it more seriously in the sense that we'll do the work that's needed, but at the same time we'll lighten up about it, because if we are meeting our own needs, I don't need anyone else to meet my needs. I'm not relying on a person outside of me to fill the hole that I feel like I have inside of me. And so then the pressure is off of them. And when 2 people come together knowing you're here to mirror what I need to fix or heal or surrender or love or let go of or forgive, you're here to mirror that for me. You're also here to mirror my celebrations. So my completion in things, my letting go of like it's a celebration as well. It's not just healing and like heavy stuff. They're also there to mirror how good you've done and how far you've come. So if we can actually look at what relationships are, we don't put so much undue pressure on it and on the other person. And then what we do is we look inside and go, okay, if I'm feeling empty that I need a partner, what am I not giving myself? What is it that I'm not meeting my own needs? How is it that I am putting conditions on how lovable I am? I'm not unconditionally loving myself. So of course I'm not going to see it in my outside world, because the outside world is just a reflection of an inner condition. That's it. So I say so much, like so much, and I understand that. So you're just going to have to hold on and bear it with me. Do you like my cup? My friend gave it to me for Christmas. Oh, it's backwards. It says, I'm sorry, did I roll my eyes out loud? Pretty good, right? Okay. I like that one came up for 2, or for the love relationship, whatever spread that we're doing right now, the 2 of Swords, because I'm looking like there's 2 of them, right? And they can choose which reality they experience. They can choose it. Like this one's in the dark, and this one's like, the flowers are still growing, like there's still things happening, but it's not illuminated. It's a harder task. It's a harder walk. When you're walking in the dark, how hard is it to see if you're about to step on a crack, if you're about to step on an animal or whatever, like if you're about to walk the wrong way? It's harder. Whereas when you choose the light, it illuminates the path that you want to go on, and it just becomes an easier trek. And again, there's still stuff that happens in the light. Like there's still things that get brought up to heal. That's the whole point. But when you're choosing love, the illumination that happens because of that makes things so much easier. And if we find that we're having a really hard time in life, it's almost like a little test to be like, you just need to keep on choosing love. Like you just need to keep on choosing love, keep on understanding that everything is here for your own growth and everyone's growth around you, even though it's really hard to experience that sometimes. And relationships are the perfect mode for that. Perfect. That's why you have those people in your life. And in fact, when you, like, we think that relationships that come and go and they're fleeting, and like someone, if they run into me on the street, for instance, like we don't think that's a relationship. Every single interaction that you've had with another human being is a relationship. It could be a short-term one. There's medium term and long term. Long terms are like families, wives and husbands and stuff. Like that's a long term one. Short term ones are like friends that you've been friends with for a couple years and then you just kind of fall out. And then the short term are literally the really short encounters that you have where you run into someone on the street and whatever. And every single opportunity or every single encounter with that other person is an opportunity to choose love or fear. So let's say someone runs into you in the street and you're like, what the fuck? Excuse you? And then you walk away and you're like, what a dick. Like, oh my God, they weren't watching where they were going. Like, what a dick. That's fear. Because you've chosen anger, judgment, resentment, all of that. That's all fear. But someone runs into you and you're kind of shocked, right? Because it is shocking, but you're like, oh, or excuse me. Like, yeah, no worries, no worries. And then you walk away, you're like, oh, that was so funny. We almost hit heads. That's love. That's understanding. That's allowing that other person to be another human being. Like those are your choices that you have in any situation. And I just looked at the clock and it was 11:11 right when I was saying that. And even the long-term ones, every single time that there is an interaction with that person, you can choose love or fear. And again, we don't always choose love, but that's our goal, to eventually always choose love. And then we're using the relationships for actually what their purpose is. That is their sole purpose. So it's not this currency of love that we normally see. It's not this, oh, I fell out of love with you. Like I already said this at the beginning, it's not that. Every single relationship is an opportunity to choose again. And I'll tell you, our default mode has been fear. Our default mode is ego. That's our default mode because we're so used to thinking with the ego mindset that that's our default mode. And what's happening now is you're seeing people starting to realize that that's their default mode and going, well, if I'm the one that gets to choose, right? I'm the chooser, then I can choose to be happy instead of choosing this. And then what happens because of that is I get to have a happy experience. So that is what I feel with this. And 10 of hardships or 10 of wands hardships. And it was upside down. So I feel like right away 10 is like a completion of things, right? It's the end of the numbers and you get to start at 1 again. I feel like a lot of people haven't understood where the hardship's coming from. And so they continually, like it's this. So that hardship lesson just keeps on turning. And you just keep on going with it. And you just keep on keeping on. And you never stop and go, wait a minute. Why did I choose that? Why am I choosing fear and pain and anger and guilt? And why am I choosing all that? I don't need to. I don't need to choose that anymore. I want to choose to complete this and then let it go. Let it go. I can always tell when the message is over because literally it just stops. And it literally just stopped. And I said, let it go. And then it went, and you're done. All right. Well, that was love reading that it's kind of funny how everything kind of turns into itself and like the unexpected turn that it took is exactly part of the message. And I just love it because whenever I come on here before, I always ask for spirit to guide the YouTube video. And I always ask and just say, I know that whatever I say is exactly what needs to be said. So it's funny how even I'm not sure where it's going. I'm totally thinking like, oh, this is going to be a love reading. Like this is going to be like, okay, well, you're going to fall in love. You're going to meet this. You're going to blah, blah, blah. And then as it morphed and I got to see how it got to morph together, it's just as exciting for me as it is hopefully for the people watching this. Because I'm like, oh, I get that. I get it. I get it. So this one might actually be better titled The Meaning of Relationships rather than Love Reading. I think that might be a better title. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Choose love, then choose love again. Be compassionate to yourself and be compassionate to others. Mwah! Bye.